to your point and what you said, what are the better options out there? Dak Prescott's still really good. You're still in the Super Bowl conversation every year almost there in Dallas right now. They need to do some things about the team to help out too. I mean, again, I don't know. I mean, most smart football people I knew, they certainly weren't picking the Cowboys to win the game. So, and then wait. So let me just go down this because I want to defend Dak for a minute here. Who are we going to take, the 49ers offense or the Cowboys offense? Well, we know who we're taking. We know. We're taking Debo and Ayuk over any duo that's on Dallas. We're taking Kittle over Dalton Schultz. We're taking the running backs over Dallas's, right? So we're taking the offensive line of the Niners over Dallas's. We're taking the 49ers defense over Dallas. So, again, that was an uphill climb yesterday. Just because they had a star in their helmet didn't mean they were just going to win the game. They were playing a better team. They played really good in a lot of ways. He made some big mistakes, there's no doubt. They got to help him a little bit too. Now, one of the things, Mike, that I thought was another, after the 2 interceptions, the next biggest thing that happened in the game for me was what? Tony Pollard getting hurt. When he got hurt, I went, oh, damn, that's going to be tough. He seems like the only guy that can break a tackle and do something outside the realm of the playbook. So, I'm sorry. I just wanted to stick up for Dak a little bit because I did see some of that on social media too and all that.
Right. And I've got no issue with Dak. I'm talking about the organization.
Yeah, I hear you there. I know you. I know, Mike.
They've got a guy that they clearly want to keep in Dak, and he's earned every penny of his contract. But organizationally, they just can't get past this. And somebody's got to lead them past it. You either have to have a quarterback who leads you past it, you have to have the supporting cast, you have to have the coaching. And, the Tony Pollard injury hurts badly, especially him.
Yeah.
He's a free agent now.
Yeah.
He's completed his rookie contract, and he's got a broken fibula. So it's a 3-month recovery. That plays into the Cowboys' hands. That makes it cheaper for the Cowboys to keep him, which is one of the unfortunate realities from a business standpoint of the NFL.
That's tough.
Whatever someone was plotting and planning to do when it comes to maybe making a run for Tony Pollard, you're just not going to do it now because there's too many other running backs out there, and there's a crop of them every year coming out of college. You can get in any round of the draft, every round of the draft, or undrafted who can come in if they've got the 3 key attributes. You can block for them, you can trust them to hold on to the football, and you can trust them to not get the quarterback killed in blitz pickup. That's it. And there's so many guys that can do it, but it's just a shame.
Yeah.
Because Tony Pollard was setting himself up for something,
right?
Whether with Dallas or with another team. So that always hurts. It reminds me of the OBJ torn ACL last year in the Super Bowl. You get to the point where you're right on the brink of getting a financial reward, and it's that one injury. And that's why we always say get paid what you can, while you can, when you can. But, Chris, here's the other reality.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn in the mix for multiple coaching jobs. If he's gone, what happens with that defense?
I know.
We saw what it was like with Mike Nolan. I mean, for crying out loud, Mike Nolan was Mike McCarthy's hire. That was the guy when he had a whole year off to plan. What am I going to do? Who am I going to hire? I'm Mike Nolan. And that defense was pure and complete crap in 2020, the first season for Mike McCarthy with the Cowboys. And that's what last year, it's like they seemed like the 85 Bears last year just because they weren't crap anymore.
Yeah,
they weren't great last year.
No,
they
weren't.
Great this year.
Right.
It helps to have Micah Parsons, but, Chris, it could be that McCarthy's got to find somebody else to run that defense, whether it's internal or somebody finds externally, but that could be the next order of business as you try to hold this thing and then add to it and get to the point where you can get to a conference championship.
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully they can keep it together. We'll see. I mean, Dan Quinn's going to be a hot candidate. We know that. He's done a great job. He deserves another chance. I understand all of that. Hopefully, if Dan Quinn does leave.
Watch Denver. I heard this recently. Darrell Bevell, and Dan Quinn.
Right.
Bevell, the guy that
Coach
was
Russell
the offensive
Wilson.
coordinator of the Seahawks during the glory days of the Seahawks, and Dan Quinn with that same defense and has the Seahawks background, and they've got a great defense in Denver. Just watch a Quinn and Darrell Bevell package where Bevell fixes Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Quinn gets that defense to Legion of Boom heights. Just keep an eye on that one. But then the Cowboys got to figure something out.
Well, yeah, and hopefully, to what you're saying, they don't go. Their defense is built for the Seattle scheme, how they play right now. That's where they kind of messed up with Mike Nolan. they were playing the Seattle scheme, and then they went to Mike Nolan, who, plays more of the what we talk about, big 3-4 type of stuff. They didn't have the players, and then they went back to a Seattle scheme coach, and it all worked out the right way. So hopefully that would be the first thing. Hey, let's stay within the realm of the talent we have on defense here and play a scheme that makes sense for what we got. I think the other order of business is that, hey, you said it to start the show, Mike. Dallas is awesome. We know they got freaks, but the two teams that we've talked about that are the cream of the crop with winning battles up front week after week all year long are the two teams that are in the NFC Championship game. The 49ers and the Eagles, both sides of the ball, top 5 offensive lines, defensive lines. I don't, people with smart minds would disagree probably where they rank, but they're at near the top. We know that. So Dallas doesn't have that. Dallas is missing, another marquee D lineman, or at least another marquee defensive tackle. We heard that was another big injury. Carlos Watkins gets hurt yesterday, one of their best interior D tackles. That was a huge part of the football game. So they're missing a few studs, I think, for us to quite put them in the class of the Eagles and Niners still. Another stud defensive lineman, probably need another stud weapon, right? Just as we just talked about. You talk about the Eagles and then the 49ers, and you go, wait, no, the Cowboys don't have those weapons on the offensive side of the ball. They don't. So they're close, and that's where don't blame it all on Dak. Dak wasn't great yesterday, but they need some things to finish out the roster to put them in the class of the Chiefs, the 49ers, and the Eagles, and I don't think they're quite there yet when you really round it all out.
And I look, I always want to be right in our prognostications. I had picked the 49ers to win and to cover. And so they're up 7, and I'm thinking, hey, this is pretty good. I kind of
What was
like
the
this,
spread finally get to?
What?
What was it?
It was, I don't know. It was 4 when we made our picks.
Yeah.
I don't know where it
Right.
ended up. But
Yeah.
when I saw 4, I thought that's too low. 49ers are too good. They're going to win by more than 4. I thought they'd win by more than 10, frankly. So the fact that it was 7 is impressive performance by the Cowboys. But, Chris,
Yeah.
I love chaos, and I love a great finish. And when it's 19-12, I'm thinking, all right, here's what's going to happen. Because it was 16-12, 49ers driving. I said to my son, let's hope for a field goal here. Then the Cowboys get it down 7. See if they get down the field. If they score a touchdown, what are they going to do? They're going to try to tie it with the guy who can't make extra points. They're going to go for 2 and win it 20-19 like Super Bowl 25.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation about Super Bowl 25 because that's just, I love that. I picked a game recently, 20-19, because I just always think of that this time of year.
Yeah.
But no, the Cowboys couldn't even get going. They had one drive that petered out so quickly they were able to punt
Right.
and have all their timeouts. And then got the ball back, fueled in part by Elijah Mitchell. Oh, my God. I know it's tough when you're running full speed to get a first down. You have Micah Parsons bearing down on you. It's very difficult to stay in bounds.
Yeah.
And
this saved the Cowboys and gave them that one more chance.
But right. But what do you do here, Chris? You've got, you get the first down. Where is the space where you can just take a knee when you're right up against the sideline? And you cut it back
hard.
inside and get killed by Micah Parsons? What do you do?
No, you're right. And again, you're just where you kind of want to go down. You're right. Michael Parsons was there. You are on the sideline. You're just past the first down marker. But, yeah, it's one of those where you got to try to do a quarterback slide, something like that. Do your best there, but yeah,
But you got no window. You've got no window.
It's very hard to do.
Cut it back inside and get blown up.
You might have to get hit, right? I think it's right, Mike. I don't disagree with you. I think he got stuck in a tough spot. Definitely, I'd be shocked if Shanahan and company hadn't told him stay in bounds, but they might have also told him, hey, first down was more important than anything, so just get the first down, and they were willing to deal with the rest of the repercussions. And again, that was a big part of the game. But, Mike, just even backing it up, that drive before to go up the field, that said it all. It kind of explained everything we just talked about. What was it? It was 13 plays, 64 yards in 8 minutes to go up 7. That kind of just tells you, like you said, offensive line battle there. They just kind of wore out that Cowboy defensive line there. And, it was an impressive physical, detailed football game by the San Francisco 49ers. And that was maybe the least detailed thing they did right there. And it got a little dicey. But like you said, I never felt like, oh, no, they're in trouble here just because of the way Dallas's offense looked, throughout the day.
And the Cowboys had their first chance down 7 with 3 minutes and 4 seconds to go.
Yeah, right.
Technically 2:59.
Right.
2:59. So, 82 yards to go.
Right.
2:59 in all 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
And it was 3 and out. You can't have a 3 and out in that setting. Whether that's on Dak, whether that's on Mike McCarthy, whether that's on the other players, you can't have incomplete pass, sack. You can't have that. Season on the line. I said, that's, I remember, we're locking in. You watch football all day or wait to get on a plane and the whole and here we are. This is it. The day comes down to this. 3 minutes left, 3 timeouts, down 7, season's on the line. What do you got?
Yeah.
And they didn't have shit.
They didn't have that exactly.
They didn't have anything.
Right. They didn't. They didn't have any. I think that was the disappointing thing for me. We saw a few teams who had some answers of what the 49ers do to make some plays, where there you felt like, hey, there's a little bit of an understanding and they got a clue and they're clued in on what the 49ers like to do in certain situations and down and distances. We talked about it last week on the podcast. The 49ers defense over the last 5 or 6 weeks, teams have moved the ball. They've scored points. And then we get into what we've heard, what we talked about during the podcast. Chiefs, Dolphins, Raiders, they did some things because they understood the rules of the defense. I never felt like that last night, from the Cowboys, that they ever had a feel for, oh, wait, this is what they're going to do, and we know how to expose that rule and make things tough on them to get them out of their normal realm of their defenses. That never happened. They never made a few plays to where you felt like, oh, man, the 49ers are going to have to change what they're doing here because the Cowboys got them. They got them in a tough bind. They really controlled the game throughout, and yeah, I just think there was a lack of surgicality, like I like to say there, as far as from the Dallas. It was just a play here, a play there, a play here, a play there, but never anything really consistent throughout the day.
And on that penultimate drive, to use one of Miles Simmons' favorite words that I hate to use because it sounds just a little too fancy when you can just say next to last. But anyway, penultimate drive. Michael Gallup was open to the inside on that second down play.
Right.
And Dak just missed him.
Yeah.
He just missed him. I mean, again,
that should have been the game.
We'll talk about this with Jared Goff.
Right.
Right. That's the first one.
Yep.
The second one is the one where Gallup is open and Dak misses him. He's got time to set up and throw it, and he misses him to the outside. And we've said it about Jared Goff. We've said it about Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you make the big throw in the big spot? And that was his chance. That was his opportunity, and he missed it, Chris. He missed it.
Yeah, he did. He had a chance. There's no doubt. And you don't get a lot of big plays against this defense. We know that, right? And we saw, like Aaron Rodgers last year, hit a post like that late in the game to beat the 49ers. I saw Patrick Mahomes hit a post like that in their game to put the 49ers away. Those plays are there, the style the 49ers play. I do think Dak, Mike, as he was getting ready to throw, had kind of somebody by his armpit that adjusted, the way he wanted to throw it again. But, yeah, that's, Rubbin's racing, and he was open. And when it's all said and done and he watches the film today, he's going to go, damn, I don't care. I still should have hit that throw. You don't have a lot of opportunities. But then, Mike, to have that, miss that on second down, get sacked on third down, and then – one other thing we could, maybe pick apart. I don't think it's a huge deal, but still it maybe cost them an extra 20, 30 seconds of having the ball. Hey, you get sacked, 0-yard loss, it's 4th and 10. Get the punt team out there and hurry up. Instead they let 35 seconds run off the clock to where that could have been another few plays before the 2-minute warning that could have maybe gave them a little extra time on that last drive to maybe have a little more wiggle room and put something together.
And this is all a combination of planning, preparation, thinking through all of the potential iterations of a game and the permutations of how things play out, being decisive. I saw Mike McCarthy on the sideline telling his guys, let's go. But those guys got to go. They got to go. You got to know when to go. Get the special teams out there, get the ball snapped, get the kickoff. Now, the way it ended the 49ers had the ball with 2:05, and they had the opportunity to pass. And we've seen teams do this before.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, boy, whoa, what a great idea.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Because the clock's stopping anyway.
Right.
The clock is stopping anyway, so throw the ball. If it's incomplete, it's still stopping for the 2-minute warning.
Exactly.
There was a game this year, I think, a Monday night game where that happened, and we were like, oh, it was like they discovered plutonium. No, that's the way it works. You have time. When you're in that spot with the last snap before the 2-minute warning, you can throw the ball. It's like the Cowboys didn't even see it coming, and that fueled that drive. But so you're right. They pissed away 30-some seconds that could have given them more time. Because here's what it came down to. Even with the Elijah Mitchell running out of bounds, they eventually stopped him. Well, but they were able to bleed. They had that one play. They were able to bleed it all the way down.
Right.
So the Cowboys get it back on their own 6 with 45 seconds and no timeouts. And it's like you want to think.
Yeah, but you were like, come on. And this defense, 94 yards,
it's the 49ers.
Come on. Exactly right.
You ain't going 94 yards in 45 seconds. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
And then you start shooting yourself in the foot repeatedly. That doesn't help either. Dalton Schultz, good God. Not one, but 2 screw-ups with the season on the line. 2 of them.
Yeah.
Where the failed to get out of bounds, got the whole wind the clock because he, that's, it drives people crazy because he went out of bounds, but his forward progress was stopped before he went out of bounds, so they say he didn't go out of bounds. We see this from time to time.
Yeah.
That's which one was that? That's the second mistake. That's because that robbed us of a Hail Mary.
Yeah, that's right.
If he drags that toe or keeps that foot down, that's just basic discipline. That's your instinct. Catching balls at the sideline, you develop an instinct of what it takes. John Lynch knew right away that the back foot was up. To me, when it was happening live, it's like something looked weird there. When you watch those plays over and over again, there's a rhythm to it. There's a pattern to it. And it's like something didn't look right.
Yeah.
And they started talking about it. The right foot was up. Right foot was up. Think about the difference in that final play. I mean, that final play we're going to talk about, but you got a different experience altogether with one snap left if he properly executes that catch at the sideline, Chris.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we're going to get a chance to see, like you're talking about, we're going to get to see Dak Prescott move around and hopefully buy time and throw the ball up to Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and see if something lucky can happen. I mean, one more last dramatic moment. I don't know. Again, unlikely that anything happens there. But again, I think it was tough sledding, the position they were in. And, yeah, it wasn't perfect at the end. I don't think it's enough to where we're going to sit here and we don't need to demoralize Mike McCarthy. Yeah, they should have punted the ball quicker. That's for sure. But I think ultimately, too, hey, we know the team that was better won the football game. You said it. You thought the 49ers would win by 10, maybe more. Dallas put up a valiant effort. They did. Their offense wasn't able to consistently do anything throughout the day. The 49ers defense was smothering. And then Shanahan didn't let the Cowboys, do things that we saw all year where they beat teams because their defense got the offense an extra possession or two or scored themselves or gave the ball to the Cowboys on the 5-yard line. So that's where I really think the 49ers put it together and played the right way yesterday, especially with a rookie quarterback who definitely hasn't seen a defense like that yet. So that'll go a long way, too, to giving him confidence against the Eagles, who do some crazy stuff as well. But now he'll be a little bit more accustomed to it and comfortable with it, and hopefully Brock Purdy can make a few plays this week, too.
I was going to let the moment pass when you said that you don't want to demoralize Mike McCarthy because I think you meant demonize.
Yeah, I meant to say that.
The only reason
thank you.
The only reason I'm pausing is you were trying to say valiant and it came out valiant.
Well,
and I kind of like the word valiant. I kind of like valiant.
I mean, you're right. I don't even know what I was trying to say there. It's still early on Monday morning.
Valiant has that flair to it.
Yeah.
Valiant, though, there's got to be a time and a place and a proper definition for the word valiant. I think the word valiant needs to be introduced into the lexicon. We need to find a meaning for it. Okay, so second straight year.
Right.
Playoff game against the 49ers. Comes down to one play. Now, look, last year was more realistic. And here's the irony, if we're using it properly here, and we probably aren't. Last year, the goal was to avoid a Hail Mary. This was a deliberate decision to eschew a Hail Mary. But remember, last year, the whole quarterback draw was aimed at getting it close for a reasonable shot at the end zone from about the 30.
Right.
The quarterback draw, 15 seconds, 14 seconds left. The whole idea, draw play, slide, run to the line, spike, and have a second left throw to the end zone. And it was a poorly executed play because they didn't account for the fact that the umpire had to get through the quarterback in the center to the football and reset it before they were able to snap it and spike it. So that was the big criticism of coaching: detail, execution, planning, preparation, the kind of stuff that certain coaches who are currently available to be hired and who've been linked to the Cowboys in the past are buttoned up about all the time, and Mike McCarthy just isn't. So I was very intrigued as we approached the final play from, I want to make sure I had the yard line right. It was the 24-yard line, because it would have been the 39 if Dalton Schultz drags his foot or gets that second foot in. Much different. 15 extra yards, much different. So from the 24 with 76 yards to go and one play left, here comes Ezekiel Elliott as the center. And I'm thinking, this is going to be interesting. Now, it wasn't very interesting. I was hoping we'd hold that. Let's not show that yet. Let's pretend we didn't see that. I want to set it up before we show this again. Of course, I think it's too late for that. Ezekiel Elliott comes out as the center, and I'm thinking, Chris, what are they doing here?
Yeah.
Like, and as I'm processing it, it's like, aha, you're going to do a Stanford band play, so why not have somebody who's more adept and capable of being part of the Stanford band hot potato lateral chain? This is brilliant. Now, what I don't understand is why there were, and I need to see who exactly was lined up left and right. I think were they all skill position players?
Well,
were there any offensive
no, I think there is. I think
there?
there's two offensive linemen on both sides. I think there's two down here, right on the bottom, right in front of the two. I think you got two there,
Yeah.
and I think you do have one or two up top too, in between the two receivers as well. Right.
Now, I don't know why they're there.
Yeah, I don't know either.
What's the point of having, especially when you throw it to the inside? I can understand having the offensive lineman there if the goal was the receiver's going to step back and catch a screen and get it all started, and the offensive linemen are going to take on the first guy from the 49ers, and then you just buy some time to throw the lateral. Right. That's what makes sense to me.
Yep.
Apparently they were decoys. And the whole idea was throw the ball. Apparently the idea was to get this thing started by throwing the ball to Cavante Turpin, who I think was supposed to then pitch it to Ezekiel Elliott. Now we can play. That's the concept. It didn't work out that way because, as Miles Simmons pointed out via text immediately after this, the 49ers were having none of that shit.
No,
it was just done. That was the most abrupt and sudden ending to a Stanford band play I have ever seen. A perfect form tackle from Jimmy Ward of Cavante Turpin, while Ezekiel Elliott is trucked onto his butt, almost thrown into the ankles of Dak Prescott. The way the 49ers pounced on that, I saw somebody characterize it this way on Twitter, and I think it's the perfect way to put it. I wish I could give the person credit. It's like the moment in the original Indiana Jones movie where the guy has his sword out and he's swinging it around and he's going to do all this stuff.
Right.
And Indiana Jones just pulls out his gun and shoots him.
Yeah,
that was that moment. That was the perfect way to put it.
Wait, great. Way to scare me with all that crap. Wait, I could just end this right here, though. Great showmanship there. No, you're right. I don't know what they were trying to do. I think you're kind of right. It looks like they were trying to get a short pass, pitch it to Ezekiel Elliott. Now he's behind offensive linemen who were out on the edge, and then you go up the edge and try to go from there. We'll see. Either way, it was going to take a miracle. We know that. That's for sure. And, yeah, it wasn't properly executed. And the 49ers, again, they're a team that we've seen. They're very good in situational football. They're great tacklers. They're aggressive like you talk about all the time. That showed up yesterday. Cowboys did a lot of good things in the game, and they brought it, like you said. It was hitting. I mean, it was a lot of smacking of pads and helmets and everything yesterday. But I think ultimately, what we saw that last drive by the 49ers, or the second to last drive to kick the field goal, is just the difference. They just got a few more studs and a little more size that just ultimately wore down the Dallas Cowboys, and they need a few more players in that department, Dallas. They're not quite in the class of the Eagles or the 49ers in that department.
There was talk before the wild card game against the Buccaneers that Mike McCarthy could be in grave danger. Is there another kind? If they had lost that game, they win, and that just reaffirms everything. But after the way last night ended, because that last play, it was still a miracle, but they gave us something to kind of get on the edge of our seats about. And then to have it end with a thud like that, it just makes it glaring. It makes it weird. It makes it strange. So inevitably, Jerry Jones, the owner of the team, was asked the question after the game about whether or not this affects Mike McCarthy's status. Have a listen to Jerry Jones post-game following the loss to the 49ers.
No, not at all. And their decision for our kicker was exonerated with his field goal in my mind, and I'm proud for him. But this is very sickening to not win tonight.
Wow. He wanted to cry right there, it looked like it.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Does this change your thinking? Yeah, absolutely. Does this change your thinking about Mike McCarthy? And it was no, not at all. I disagree with the idea that the decision about kicker Brett Maher was exonerated because he made a field goal, because he missed an extra point. The one that was blocked, it would have missed badly. He should thank them for blocking it, because it would have been embarrassingly wide left if it hadn't been blocked. So you make that extra point, you're down 6. You're playing for the win if you can make the extra point. But they miss. I still think they mishandled the whole Brett Maher thing. There's so many other kickers out there. I don't think he was ready to go by virtue of the fact that he missed his first extra point.
Well, I think either the way they managed the game,
it was 25 yards.
Right.
I can make a 25-yard field goal.
And then they had to manage the game. They were managing and playing the game because they weren't sure if he could hit field goals too. I mean, finally he made one because they were like, damn, we got no choice here, so he's gonna have to kick this one. We got to see if he can do it. And like you said, the other one was a chip shot. So the second one, they were when the 43-yarder. I got the sense they didn't really want to do it, but they were like, okay, all right, well, we got to see. Can he do it?
4th and 8.
Right.
It was 4th and 8.
So they were stuck. Right. They had to do it.
If it was 4th and 5, 4th and 4,
they were going to go for it. Right. And I think that, again, his struggles, definitely, there was a few, I think, second and third down situations where plays were called differently by the Dallas Cowboys because they were thinking about the field goal situation and lack of consistency from the field goal kicker there. So, I'm with you. I don't know if that was exonerated or not. We talked about that a lot during the week, but it was certainly an issue yesterday.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.